edition of the Contractor's Secret Weapon weekly podcast with your hosts, Dave Negri. This program is dedicated to helping contractors, remodelers, painters, roofers, roof cleaners, and business owners in the construction industry gain an unfair advantage over the competition. This program supplies you with information that the competition doesn't even know exists. This session brought to you by contractorssecretweapon.com.
Hey, we've been talking about having some new stuff coming up in October 1st. The week of October 1st is the big kickoff week for our new website. So I want you to look forward to that. We've got some other things happening that same week. We're going to be doing some different things with Contractor Secret Weapon. Hopefully you'll love it. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. Well, just give you your money back. Just kidding. We're going to be running some series, like 5-day series, go consecutively for 5 days. And the first one will be, never mind, I'll just let you know next week on that. We have Heather Havenwood this week. She was a lot of fun to talk with. You will get a kick out of her. She really brings the woman's mindset into the contracting business on how women think. And as a consultant, and how she helped one of her clients just think differently and become better at what he did. So you'll enjoy it. I know you enjoy it because I really had a great time with her. And so let's get into this week's podcast. Okay, hey, this is Dave Negri with Contractor Secret Weapon. Today I have a fun guest with us today, Heather Havenwood. Heather Ann Havenwood, CEO of Havenwood Worldwide, LLC, and Chief Sexy Boss, is a serial entrepreneur and is regarded as a top authority on internet marketing, business strategies, and marketing. And since marketing her first online business in 1999, bringing together clients and personal coaches, she has played an active role in the online marketing world since before most even have a home computer. And I wish I didn't even need one now. In 2006, she developed, and grew an online information marketing publishing company from ground zero to over $1 million in sales in less than 12 months, starting without a list, a product, a name, or an offer. And Heather Ann has molded her client into a successful guru known as the expert in his field. And I'm just so glad to have Heather on the program today. Before we get into the conversation with you, I just want to do a shout out to our sponsors who help promote Contractor Secret Weapon and just some of the things that they have in store for you, our listeners. Hey, is your phone ringing enough? Do you want it to ring more with highly motivated and qualified buyers that contact you, the contractor, directly? No more waiting for the phone to ring. Just answer that phone. Best Home Services leads are dedicated to making your phone ring with motivated buyers that call you directly. There's no obligation to talk with them. Just go to contractorssecretweapon.com/money. Fill out the form to secure your discount on the setup fee. Do it today. This special will not last forever. Check them out at contractorssecretweapon.com/money.
Running a small business is no easy task, and I should know because I had a service company for almost 10 years. I am the founder of a software called Radius Bomb, and it's unbelievable. And for all the listeners of Contractor Secret Weapon, we have a special offer for you to check out. If you want to send hyper-targeted, laser-focused, super personalized postcards to your exact prospects using a map while sitting in your underwear, then go to contractorssecretweapon.com/Radius Bomb, and we'll give you your first 100 postcards for free. Just go to contractorssecretweapon.com/Radius Bomb.
Heather, I'm just so glad you could be with us today and share your expertise. I know we talked a little bit about, our contractors and their marketing, and you have some awesome stories for us. So thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun, Dave. I'm very, very excited. I got my cowboy hat on over there. Over here, you can't see me. I live in Texas. So cool. I thought we were going to do video, so I put on a pink shirt and a cowboy hat, but then we're doing audio only. So you guys just imagine a blonde with a cowboy hat and pink shirt. There you go.
Very good. So we were talking a little bit before about just some of the things that really help out small businesses like the contracting and service business industry, and basically it's branding, how to get you to look better and be better in your local marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I've been doing I've been in online marketing since 2001, believe it or not. Wow. I have my master's degree in online marketing in 2011. I was the first one to complete that first master's degree in the country. So that was kind of fun too. And you know what's funny, Dave, is that I actually did my first internet marketing course. Hold on a second, hold your boots. 1999.
Wow.
Right. I actually was in university. I was going through just a regular 101 marketing course, and my professor kind of pulls like 10 of us aside and said, "Hey, I just got approval to do this thing called internet marketing course, but they're only allowing me to do it one semester. Yes, you'll get your 3 credits because that's all we care about when you're in college. And I'm picking you because you guys are my top students." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." We're all looking at each other like, internet marketing course, like what? So we did. So and she didn't really know what she was doing either. None of us really did. So she said, okay, the entire semester, all we're going to do is just going to create a business online. That was it. Like, okay, that's your job. And at the end of it, the homework basically for the entire semester is you just create a business plan and give it to me. Wow. I'm like, okay, I can do that. So I created a business called Best Fit Coach, basically connecting coaches with people together. And I had to look at this is, oh God, I'm dating myself. SEO back then and Google AdWords back then. We didn't know no one knew what we were doing, right? I mean, even the teacher was like, "Oh, this is interesting." Like, I didn't know that either. Like, there was no expertise in that room. Everyone was just kind of like bumping along, So I've been doing this a long time in the world of marketing, connecting people with companies online and offline. And we were kind of talking what I call in the green room, about here in Austin a couple of years ago, I was hired by a construction company. And I kind of want to share that story of what I was hired for and then what I ultimately ended up working with them on, if that's okay.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, because I think a lot of times, we get tunnel vision as business owners, and we go, this is what I want fixed, because they're not seeing the result we want. And then like you said, you started peeling away the onion and you saw other things that were really prevalent to their profits.
Yeah, and so I look at contractors just like I do artists. Okay, and let me explain. Also, chefs. I have a lot of friends who are chefs. They're artistic. Contractors are artistic. I mean, I can promise you, if you threw me on a roof right now and said fix it, I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
right?
I understand. Yeah.
I don't know anything about that world, but I can market it, right? So I realize that there's 2 different skill set, and one's not better than the other. But I also realize that contractors in general, they see things that the people don't see, and they are kind of like creative. They're very creative minded. And so when you're dealing with a creative mind, like artists, like a musician, like a chef, it comes from a particular part of their brain, believe it or not. So when you're dealing with that and then you're flipping them over to business and marketing and sales, it gets kind of like, and I understand, because if you threw me under a sink and told me to fix something, I'd be wet. That's all it would be. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. So with that, I was hired by this company in Austin. He met me like a B&I or something a couple years ago, and he's like, "I need to make more money," And I was like, "Great, what do you do?" He's like, "We're a construction company. We do kitchens." Okay, great, kitchens, great, awesome. All right, so they hired me, and the first thing they wanted to do is, "You fix our website, make it better," And I was like, "Well, your website does need some fixing, but let's focus on some other stuff first," because they were getting referrals, so obviously they do good work.
Yeah.
And so I said, let's talk about who your market is. And they're like, kitchens. I'm like, no, market's not a kitchen, Yeah. And they're like, well, people that really want to redo their kitchen. And I mean, it took about a couple hours for like nailing it back. And I started to really explain to them specifically with the kitchen. I'm going to speak for kitchens for a second. It's not the man, it's the woman. Men do not care if you have 1970s. We don't care. You just, does it work? Your women, kitchen, home, the space for connection and nurturing and love and doing homework together and spending space together. That is a woman's kitchen. Okay, men go and get a sandwich. Right. Very different feel. I tried to explain to him that he is selling to women.
He didn't realize
he was like,
that.
"Well, you're right." He really did. Like, well, usually a guy comes in and right. Like, yeah, the woman tells him how that goes, right?
know, like the controlling of the purse of redoing bathrooms and kitchens is 100% is the woman. Now, if you're telling me you're selling garages, like changing a garage,
right.
I mean, like that's all man. That's all boy. The boy cares about the nice flooring in the garage. The women could care less. Okay, so that's what you need to know your market is. You need to want to know who's really writing the check, right? And it's the women. So I said, well, let's first look at your appearance. And he was a good-looking guy, real sweetheart. He was a real sweetheart, but he had this kind of like, he had a bald head, and he had this look to himself that he was going to kill you, even though I knew he didn't. I was like, he was super sweet, but like he had this, and his truck was very, very man. And I said, okay, let's back it up a little bit on that. So what car do you bring to the appointment? Oh, well, this truck. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. It was way masculine, like over the top masculine. Like, let's bring it down. It's just a regular truck. I said, what do you wear? He's like, what do you mean what do I wear? And he had like army pants on and big boots, and like some weird t-shirt that said cool or something. And I said, let's start with basics because you're going into a woman's home. Okay. And you really are asking for a big check between $20,000 and $100,000 of these. So I said, let's start with your appearance. This is basics. He goes, what do you mean? I go, well, let's get you in a polo. And right now we don't have polos with your name on it, but like, let's just get in a basic polo. And what I want you to do is get a polo in blue or a soft pink. Now he was like, what?
No pinks for me, man.
And I go, you're selling to women, right? He's like, yeah. I go, okay, blue and soft pink, right, tells a woman, or white, pure white, or soft pink, or a light blue, tell women you're safe. If you walk in with a black polo, okay, automatically, subconsciously, it's black and something's wrong. Or red, it's danger. I mean, it's a very subconsciousness. So why not create a beautiful connection subconsciously versus something to overcome? So he's like, pink. And I'm like, you would look fabulous in pink. Anyway, he was super sweet about it and he did it. And I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. So I let him do a consultation his way with this woman. And he told me the results. I go, now you get to do it my way, like all my way, like everything my way. I go, you get khaki pants and you're going to wear this light blue shirt. Okay. And you're going to wear just basic shoes, nothing fancy. And that's it. Okay. And no bandana on your head, just your head, right? Just bold and beautiful. He's like, okay. I said, you're going to come in with a clipboard and you're just going to smile and then you're do your thing. Do your like regular thing, whatever you do, right? Just look at it. And when you're talking to her, you're going to share with her. Basically, you're going to repeat back to her what she says. So she's like, I want a white kitchen. Now, in your head, you're like, oh my God, white's going to look horrible in here, or it's not going to work, or, can't get that kind of white or something. Like, don't say that. Go like, okay, you want white. Awesome. And then you want granite? You want granite. Awesome. Okay, great. And then you want this. Great. You just pretty much repeat what she says. And you let her like just explore what she wants and repeat back what she says and then say yes to it. And then in your head, you're like doing the estimate and you're doing the reality of that estimate, right? And then you get the estimate. That's the key. Now, when he said this, he looked at me with just triple eyes, right, Dave?
You're right.
Going, okay, so you want me to repeat what she says? I'm like, yeah. Well, and his brain was like, but why? I'm like, well, number one, this will help you in your relationship in your life, just so you know. If you repeat what the woman says, a woman feels heard. And when a woman feels heard, she'll like you. And that's what you want, because you're going to be in here with your sweaty guys and your other 10 dudes that you hire, and you're going to be in her space for a week. And she needs to know she can trust you to be in her space for a week while you're like tearing up her kitchen, right? Absolutely. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, this is how you connect with her. You repeat what she says. You pretty much go, yes, if you can do it, like if it's just in reality, okay. Right? Like, and then you give her a true estimate, you give her a range and do your thing. And the other thing I would do in pricing, which I told him, is you always give a low, medium, and high. Always, always, always. You never give a one price. Ever, ever, ever. This is just like a one-on-one of pricing. Here's why. Women, guys, listen up. Come close to the podcast. Come listen. Women love choices. Women love choices. So go back to dating 101. Wife says, I want to go eat tonight. And then the husband says the worst thing ever. What do you want to eat? Wrong answer. The answer is, here's the answer. Great. 7 o'clock work? Yeah, that works. Great. I'll pick 3 restaurants and you can let me know which work for you. Great. And then you come back with really random Mexican, Asian, and steak. And then she's like, oh, let me think. I like Asian tonight. The fact that you gave her 3 choices, she is now happy because we feel we're in control. That's what we like. So if you're a contractor and you say, okay, you want all this, ma'am, it's going to cost you $80,000. I don't know. Now, if you said, great, if you want all of this to the height of what you want, it's going to be $80,000. But there's some other options we could do that are around 30 and potentially a 50,000. It just depends if you want to cut back on anything. But if the cream of the cream of what you want, like everything you want, it's going to be 80. But I mean, I could probably do it. Here's some ways I can cut it to around 50. See, what you're doing is giving her the option to go lower or to go higher or whatever, right? So that is how you do pricing specifically with women. You always give them choices.
Well, it makes sense because if you give them one price, it's either yes or no.
It's not even that. It's not even that. It's beyond that. Women want choices. Even if she wants the $80,000 kitchen, the fact there's only one choice, women don't like that. We don't like that. We really shut down. We shut down with one choice. You guys love it. Here's an example. A friend of mine, I went to go California. He was amazing. Him and his wife own this amazing massage place. And I said to him, I was texting him, his wife was unavailable. And I said, I just got done with this amazing massage. I'm so happy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm starving. And he goes, oh, there's this great Asian place across the way. I go, well, I'm really not looking for Asian. It doesn't feel right. He's like, well, what do you want? And I'm not married to this guy, so I kind of giggled, but I'm like, that's the worst answer you could give to a woman. What you give to a woman is like, well, there's Asian, there's a salad place, because I'm from there. There's a salad place, and then there's a juice place. Oh, great. I'll figure out what I feel like in the moment. That's what we do. So you have to realize that if that's your market, if you're talking to women, and even if you're talking to the guy, we all know the women's listening, and the woman the woman's always the one making the choice, right?
Absolutely.
It is. Even though the husband's like, look, you want a kitchen? Our budget's $40,000. Don't go over it. Okay, honey. Right. And then the guy comes over and then he's like, well, it's 50. You're like, ooh, can we do 60?
Yeah, I know. I just had a friend bought a house. He said they moved in. He said, I gave my wife a budget of $300,000. I said, how close was she? He said, oh, she was real close, 370.
Exactly, right. So women hear, okay, 40,000 or whatever, and then we can just kind of go beyond that. So it's not personal. This is how literally women think. That's why if you go to a shoe store, which you probably don't do, but if you notice, if you go to a shoe store, next time you're like with your wife at a shoe store, or you're like going through Dillard's or Macy's or something, women will just gawk at the shoes. Why? The reason why the shoes are so attractive to women, it's because they can choose the shoes. It sounds really weird, but it's like if you walk into a shoe store and there's all these shoes everywhere, women are over there like trying them on, and they walk, try them on, and they walk over and they try them on. Like there's something about, I want to feel like I could choose. It's always about the choice. Always, always, always. Low, medium, and high. Pricing is really critical as well, even for men, because and especially if their budget. If their budget is 40 and you give them a 35, a 60, and an 80, like the cream of the cream, they choose somewhere in between that, and they will feel comfortable with you more because they feel like, okay, he's not just sticking with one price. He's not making me go this way. He's giving me this room to say, you can have the top A grade granite. It's expensive right now. You're looking at more like 80. If you want not custom, you're looking more like, 45. And people know that, but the fact that they can feel that from a contractor is so critical. So that's what I did with this guy. And what happened is he got more and more and more business. He signed the contract with the second one and not the first one. And he didn't understand why, because he was like, well, the guy's in there and he's saying, oh, I like this guy. This is great. I go, yeah, but remember, after you leave, the woman looks at the husband and goes, I like him.
Yeah.
I'm
not comfortable.
Right. I'm not comfortable. At the end of the day, she's going to be the one home all day with him and hit in her house, in her space. Right. So she's got to be the one that feels like the comfy and feels good and feels whatever. Right. Even though he might be one quote unquote writing the check or not. I don't know who's ever writing the check.
Right.
So that's something when you're dealing with any kind of contracting, always knowing who you're really speaking to. It's always the woman.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. When you really think about it, because as you're talking, I'm thinking about all the transactions that we've done, because we just did some remodeling and we brought somebody in, and I said, well, what do you think? Because I don't care. I don't live. I live here. That's all I do is I live here. My wife entertains here, and it's her pride, it's her joy, it's her passion. I understand things. I don't even care about the colors. It's fine. She goes, nah, I don't like them. I said, okay, that's fine. Let's move on. Find somebody else.
Right.
And the price was within our budget, but she said, I just don't like them. I said, that's fine. We'll move on.
The other thing I think is really interesting, I live in an older area of Austin, Texas, and so this area is one of those areas where people go in and buy the house, either gut it or pretty much just drop it. It's one of those areas where the land is pretty much more expensive than just the property. A lot of older homes in the cities, so that's kind of what's happening. And I realize, and Austin's also very, very, very strict on like how much you can't just like flatten the house. You got to get so many permits to flatten a house. Yeah, so what they do is they just keep the construct and they keep the studs, and then they just like
build
basically
over it.
They just go to the studs. They just like gut it to the studs and then they rebuild. So one of the things I walk around with my dog a lot, and I notice that the ones that are really good, the contractors, is from day one, while they're starting to gut the property or whatever they're doing, they have a big sign out front. And they have that sign out front the whole time for like ever, for like a long time, 2 or 3 months. Yeah. Right? That's that's probably the best way I've seen marketing for those guys, because the neighbors will see how much a pain in the butt they are amazing. They'll also see if they want to do it themselves, or they'll see the whole process for 4 months. And what you're doing is you're basically out there going, I'm the one who's responsible. There's a problem with this deal. We're the ones you talk to. Right. Number one. Number two, we're also the ones that this makes look great, and then we're also the one that makes this look horrible or whatever. You're owning responsibility. Yeah. And for me as a woman, I'm like, oh my God, I love the fact that this contracting company is like owning their work from the first beginning.
That big old sign out there,
Yeah, like this contract is done by the architect or contract company, whatever. Yeah. And it's basically owning the work from the day one.
Yeah, I have a roofing company. What they do is they'll have a house they're going to do in a certain neighborhood, and they'll send out postcards to each one of the neighbors, tell them exactly when they're going to be there. They're going to be making noise, and if it's too much, to let them know. But they also send somebody out to hit like 10 or 15 houses around and say, listen, we're going to be here on such and such a day. We just want to know we usually get here early, and if it causes a problem, let us know. And so they get a ton of business just from being that nice.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly. Again, you're speaking to the woman.
Right.
That's exactly. I live in a condo complex, and we just had a redo of our entire roof into this kind of new roof. It looks white now. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Efficient.
It's a heat efficient. Yeah, it's flat. It's like flat and white.
Yeah.
So I remember, and we have every condo unit has got this big skylight. And I heard through the grapevine that they were going to be there today, but it was August and it was hot. And so of course the guys that were up there at like, the workers are up there like at 5 a.m. because it gets hot around like noon. It's blazing. So I knew they were there, but I didn't really think much about it. And then all of a sudden I heard this crash and the damn skylight's gone. Oh. And I'm literally under the skylight looking up at them. I'm in my bra and underwear going, what are y'all doing? And then like these little guys' heads pop out and they start speaking Spanish. Yeah. And they're like, and I'm like, someone talk to me. I'm sitting there in my bra and underwear and they're like, oh, no. And their heads just all pop back like, oops. And I'm like, I got to get some clothes on and go outside. And yeah, it was kind of funny. So, then everyone heard about it. They're like, who was the person that like that was me in my bra and underwear. Yep, that was me. But they just like tore my skylight out at 7:00 in the morning.
Oh,
so,
wow. So anyway. How did your contractor, after you've worked with him a little bit, did he fall in line pretty much and start doing things the way you told him to? Not any too much resistance?
He did the one thing that I think a lot of clients do with me, and it's a really weird result. which frustrates me. They get results really fast because once you get in alignment with things and people get attracted to you and all of a sudden you have business, it's kind of like, oh my God, thanks. I got this business. See ya. Bye. Right. And I had not even implemented 5 things with him. Like one of the things I implemented was his website. It was black and red.
Oh.
Yeah. And men, just heads up on this one too. Black and red from a woman's perspective sounds, it's Playboy and Maxim magazine. Okay. Women we don't read that. We don't go there. We don't like black. We don't like red. You don't see our homes in black and red.
Right.
Like you just won't. You won't see our cars in black and red. You just won't. Okay. So it was very unattractive to women. It was very manly. Very, 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 very. So in his like logo had some weird animal. So I just changed basics on that and very basic in his cards. I changed his cards, and then I made him. He was doing BNI and like networking events, and I dressed him. like a mom. I dressed him.
You dressed him up so he could go and be professional.
I said, you're going to be going to BNI now. You're now focusing on the women. You're going to wear this. You're going to wear a brown belt, brown shoes, khaki pants, and this like light pink blue in a blue shirt. These are your choices, or white, all white, but no black. No more gray, no more any of those colors. These are the colors you're wearing, and you're going to talk to all the women. And what happened is his business exploded.
Yeah, it's amazing. I remember when I first started BNI, I didn't do it anymore, but it was years and years ago. And when I first started my, back in my painting company, and I'd go, and one of the builders, one of the guys pulled me aside, and he goes, you want to get more business? I said, well, that's my goal here. He said, then stop dressing like a painter and start dressing like a businessman. I said, gotcha.
No, that's really true, but taking it to another level.
Yeah.
Understanding the subconsciousness of men and women. Because when I met him, he was wearing black pants, black belt, black shoes, and a black top with his red logo. And he looked, quote unquote, businessy. Like he wasn't, looking. Yeah. Right. But when you take it to another level of understanding the psychology of who your market is, right, and who not your market is, then that's where you can take that a level. Like with financial advising, financial advisors, if you look at the branding of every financial advising company on the planet, it's all blue, black, and grays, because blue subconsciously means trust. It means safe. You're fine here, right? Your money is safe with us, right? So that's why the colors are all the same. That's why all banks look the same to me.
Yeah, no, that's pretty interesting.
Because
finally get into the psychology of things and
the psychology of selling. It's really the psychology of selling, and psychology of who your market is and who's not your market. And you could, and then one of the biggest complaints I get from artists and contractors in general is that they're very good at their work. Like they really are the best custom designer of this, or they really are probably amazing at their work, but then they have this attitude, that, oh well, no one will pay me for my work, or no one wants to hire me, and then that comes out in conversation. That kind of comes out in the connection piece, So that's part of it. I mean, when I'm hiring, and when I know my friends are hiring contractors, it's less about the work, if they're going to do a good job, and more about, can I trust this person in my home? Are they going to be here on time? Are they going to do what they're saying they're going to do? I mean, it's stuff like that that's way more important to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always said that. It's more about that, not only that. I mean, the price is to a point, but if they don't see the other things, the trust factor, the value factor, and a lot of times too many people price themselves out of the market by just being too stinking cheap.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they become cheap versus it's not about price. And that's why I told my client at the time, because he said, well, I can't drop my prices anymore. I'm like, you don't have to.
You got to raise them.
Right. You got to either raise them or be at a good price. I said, but women will look beyond just the price tag and will go higher with the company that they know, that they trust, a company that they know they're going to do the work on time. They know that they can trust to be in their home with their kids. Like there's a whole other level of than just pricing. Not everyone's out just to get the cheap, No,
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. That's an amazing thing in today's market with the whole contracting business is that since 2008, so many people went out of business that it actually created an environment where contractors should be getting more for their services, but they don't think well enough of themselves and their ability to do things. They fight amongst each other and keep lowering the prices.
Right. It's sales 101. I mean, it's truly sales 101. And that's why I teach. Is I also, when I was talking to my contractor, I was like, what are your conversion numbers? And he kind of looked at me with this 3-headed look. Yeah. And I said, well, let's just basics here. For every 10 consults you do, how many do you sell? And he's like, well, I don't know. And I was like, that's a number that you need to know.
Sure.
You need to know for every 10 consults, how many you should sell. So let me give you some examples. With that kind of level of you're in their home, you're doing a contract, you're doing a potential bid. I mean, you've already overcome so much just the fact to get into the home, right? That number should be high. It should be between 70 and 80%. Now there's another number, the first, what I call the cold level, that they're calling in or you're calling them.
Yeah.
And a cold level, it's lower. It's 20 to 25%.
Right.
And if you're at 20 to 25% cold, you're doing well. Now, some people are like, oh my God, that's bad. That's actually good. That's called a moving average. That's positive. But if you don't know if that number is good, you just look at the 80% that said no. And I'm like, well, you have to realize that's just a numbers game in business and in life, right? And if you understand that, then you won't be so caught up in that. Like, that's normal. Now, if it goes under 20%, then you should be concerned that maybe it is your pricing. Maybe it's how you look. Maybe it's how you communicate, right? But if you're at that number or above, then you are an average. You really are.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. And here's the thing, and I know we don't really have a whole lot of time left, but I'm just going to throw this out there anyways because it can always be fun. What do you do with let's say you close 25%. What do you do with the other 75%? How long do you keep in touch with them?
That's a great question. So let's say it's contracting. Let's say it's kitchens again. I would have them on some kind of what I call warm list. Mm-hmm. If they've already been in communication with you, and it is a big purchase. I consulted once with a pool company. That's a big old chunk of change. And pools are really luxurious. They're not needed. Right. So it's not a need like a plumber, like you need it versus a want. It's a very different kind of sales process. So any kind of your contracting where it's a want and not a need, it's a longer sales cycle.
Sure.
And some people we know I'm going to have the money in 6 months, so I'll start looking now kind of thing.
Sure.
And see who still stays in communication with me. Women do that all the time. Right. Oh, well, we're going to get this settlement, but we're just looking, meanwhile, she's making her selection. Right. So you have to think about that. It's a long term. So I would keep in either annual communication or maybe if you have a sales team, have them contact them once a month. Just a kind of a nice follow up. Hey, just following up with you. How's it going? Y'all selected yet? Oh my gosh, I was just talking about your idea. Like, that's how people say yes to them. My sister, who lives in here in Austin, her and I were complaining about this. This is a perfect example. So she wants to have this fencing done around her whole property. She's got a big property, and she wants the fencing done. And she had a number in her head. And then she started getting all these bids, and she was getting a ton of bids. I'm like, what's your deal? Just pick a bid. She's like, they're all over the place. And then sometimes I would call them and I would email them, and they would never call me back. I still have people that have not called me back. I'm trying to give them money. So she was getting irritated with that. And or they would give her a bid and then just leave her.
Yeah, never get back with her.
Yeah, never get back with her, or here's the bid, see you, bye, or or not follow up. She's like, she said she out of 10 people that she reached out to, she had one company that actually followed up
all the way through.
Yeah,
I know the ones that get me are funny. You call them and you ask them to come give you a price. They come out and they take all the measurements and stuff, and they never get back with you. Why waste the time?
That's right. Why even come out? Why waste my time? Yeah, so that's. And what's interesting, I think she got so frustrated she hasn't made the decision yet. She's like, no, I'm just frustrated. Because then what happens as a woman, here's what happens. This is her thought process. I'm just explaining to you so you understand. So that she reached out to 10, only about, I don't know what it was, 78% of those even gave her bids. And then only one really followed up. Now, in her brain, it might sound like to a man, oh, well, then that's your guy, right? The one that followed up. But in her brain, she's annoyed because now she doesn't feel like she has a choice.
Oh, my. I never thought about that. Yeah.
That's what women think. Now I don't even have a choice.
Yeah.
I don't want to just pick him because he's the only guy I follow. I'm like, man, I don't like him. Now I don't feel, she doesn't feel she really has a choice in that. She doesn't feel she's in control. So she stopped the whole project. She's like, psh.
She's going to have to start the whole project over again.
Maybe, but in her brain, she would rather start it over again and feel like she's at choice. It's men, I'm telling you, this will change your life.
No,
right now,
this is really some really awesome stuff to think about.
She's got a boyfriend, but her boyfriend's not writing the check for this thing, so it's like all her. So he's like, I'm out of it, right?
Yeah.
So there isn't anybody in her ear saying, well, just stop being so girly. She's like, no, I want to feel like the company that's going to be here doing this entire project feels like they want to be here at least some level, and like I want to have a choice in the matter. And right now, because there's only one company, she doesn't feel she's at choice.
That's amazing. And see, I never would have thought about that. And I would have followed up forever and not, had to. I mean, that's
really weird. It's true.
Yeah, you think about it. If you're a business guy and say, well, what seems to be, you'd ask, and well, I've only gotten one person to respond so far. I would go call someone I knew and say, here, just go talk to this lady so we get something done.
Right, exactly. But she's just kind of fine. I'm just going to throw it into I'll do later. I'm annoyed. So now she's just annoyed with the whole project.
Yeah.
So, and it's an interesting, it's a fence, so it's not a need. It's not like it has to work.
No.
She's because of the dogs.
But she wants it.
Yeah, she wants it. She's like, I want this for a while. And so she's like ready for it. But now it's coming to season where it's going to get colder. And so it's not the best time. So it's interesting. I think what she also noticed is that she lives in Lakeway, which is a burb, and it was the summer. So she's like, I feel like they're just flooded with business.
Yeah, no.
They don't care about me. And the thing is that here's what I would say. I think that's great that they're flooded with business. But then I don't want to hear them whine in the middle of December when they have nothing, right?
No,
it's
I
like
agree.
You are flooded with business in the summer, then you hire more salespeople to handle it so that even if the deal's not going to happen till October, you at least have it on the books.
Right. No,
you know what?
I agree.
We follow up with you. We'd love to help you. We're swamped right now, but let's get this in October. And in fact, if you're willing to book it now for October, when our slower month, we'll give you a discount.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. And so now they have a full-time business versus just waiting for that summer month. Boom.
And dealing on, that's crazy.
And then complaining in December.
Yeah. And laying people off.
And laying people off, right?
Oh, my. So this is really awesome. I just love the way you just think about, it's from the woman's point of view, since that's what we're selling. But this has really been awesome on all these little tidbits, these little thoughts, the colors, making them feel good, and it's stuff that I've gone through, in my own life with my wife, but never really thought about it too much from the other side of the sales process. This has really been awesome.
Thank you. So it's all about know, like, and trust. At the end of the day, people do business with people, not things.
Right. Always people. So, Heather, how can our listening audience get in touch with you?
Yes, I would love to work with some contractors. I think it'd be a lot of fun. You can reach me, and you can go to basically callwithheather.com. And all that does is just gets me on a conversation with you. We can have a conversation with you and your team. But my website is heatherhavenwood.com. And I would love for you to just check me out. Raise your hand. Let's have a conversation. See how I can help you online or offline.
Offline, online, all around the town, right?
All of it. Sales is everything.
Awesome.
Touch.
This has really been great. I really thank you for being on the show today. It was a lot of fun. And
You're welcome.
I love the psychology behind it all. It's just, it rings, it resonates.
It makes sense, right? You should have your wife listen to this episode and see what she says. She's
She'll
like,
probably
I
laugh.
disagree with her. Right? Because it really is true. Women are, at the end of the day, we're the ones that control the purse.
I've been married, I think I'm going on 42 years, and I learned a long time ago, happy wife, happy life, so it doesn't matter.
Right. So the sales, it's I'll end it with this real quick. The sales person, the person you're selling to open the wallet is the woman at the end of the day. Okay, but then when you're working, you're dealing with men, right? That's your team.
Right.
Your team is men, but the sale is with the woman, right? So you just want to make sure you know that at the end of the day.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Have a great weekend. I really appreciate you spending time with us.
You're welcome. No worries.
Again, I want to thank you for joining us and investing your time with us today. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and if you did, go to iTunes and give us a shout-out. You can also go to our website, www.contractorsecretweapon.com, and check out today's episode and leave us a comment in the bottom of the page. And if you haven't gotten your 15 secret weapon strategies to getting higher-end customers, get it while you're at the website. Also, I want to thank again our sponsors for keeping this podcast alive, for your profit-making pleasure. And so go be profitable this week. Work smarter, not harder, and learn how to leverage your time and your knowledge so that you can be more profitable. Again, see you next week.
Thanks for joining us for another weekly episode of the Contractor's Secret Weapon Podcast with Dave Negri. We would love to hear your comments about this episode, so visit us online at www.contractorsecretweapon.com and let us hear your thoughts. If you are listening via iTunes, please leave us a positive review. The more positive reviews we receive, the more other contractors will benefit from this show. Thank you, and see you next time here on the Contractor's Secret Weapon Podcast.